In the previous video, I talked to you about the difference between cell size and cell shape, and that you're going to be working on cell shape in your research project. Now, I just wanted to make sure to give you the right tools to start working on your research project. So, to start, you should already know how to download ImageJ, and you should already know how to open a file, how to save a file, how to zoom in and zoom out in ImageJ, and important, also check this, how to set measurements in ImageJ. Why? Because we will tell sometimes the software that it should help us to do some measurements. So just watch, if you haven't watched this video, watch it and set up your measurements before you start. In addition, you should also know how to set up scale bars, and all these files will be there on image on Moodle. And if you have any doubt or any question, you can open it at any time in case that you need to review it, or you can also send me an email if you have any doubt. Okay, so what is the methodology we're going to use? So similar to Malcolm, we pick 4 regions. Here we have the fifth one, that it will be the joint, but we are not going to, in the beginning we thought that we were going to do that. However, as you are 4 in your group, we are only going to study 4 regions, 2 above the comb and 2 below the comb. Here, so the region 1 will be the region where the cells died. The region 2 is the region where we found that surprisingly there was not significantly change. The region 3 is the region that the cells will start getting very small in the beginning, that they start being very small and they grow. However, the size and the shape seems to be limited to some degree by the row of bristles. And the fourth region is the region that expand, but it will expand a little bit later than the compared to the third region. So we study 4 regions, and instead of studying all those cells, because it will take a long time, we're going to estimate the dynamics. And in this case of to estimate those dynamics of apical cell shape, we're going to analyze this. We're going to analyze 5 cells per region. So 5 cells of the region 1, 5 cells of the region 2, 5 cells of the region 3, and 5 cells of the region 4. Okay, so let me delete this. So it's okay. So so we're going to study, as I said, 5 regions of 5 cells, 5 cells here, and 5 cells of here, and 5 cells of here. And we are not going to study this one. And to do that, we are going to use ImageJ to measure some of the data. So Malcolm already highlight the regions, labeled the regions, and did a lot of the measurements. And we might expand it, but in the beginning at least, we are going to start with these ones. We think that he already did in the previous semester. So the first thing that you have to do is go to Microsoft Teams. I don't know if you reach it in the same way. I to go to Microsoft Teams in my case, I go from here. Then you go to the cell biology, and then you go to files. Then here you find all the different research projects. So circulatory tumors, here things about conservation biology, a lot of all the other projects, and your 2 projects, the one about cell competition and cell perimeter, are here. Here will be all your files, so it's easier for you to work, and I can later see what you're doing and help you. Here, right now, I only upload the tables. And in the tables, I divide it into groups. So, for example, and this will include will be also for the cell perimeter. It will be the same organization. So, for example, Nelsie and Ella will be working with the width and the height in the distal region below the comb, while Enrico and Emily will be working with the width and the height in the proximal region. So here, if you go inside of that folder, you can see that you have for the data for the movie 1, for the region 1. So if you remember, if this is the SAXCOM, you will have movie 1, movie 2, and movie 3. You will have 3 movies, and here you have this data correspond to the region number 1 that we just studied. Yeah, and so we repeat the data 3 times just to make sure from different movies to have a general idea that what we're observing, that we are studying, is not, it doesn't take place in only one movie, but is a general behavior that can happen in more than one occasion. And we can in that way also see how much variation there is, if all the movies are the same or all the movies are different. And if you go inside of those folders, you can also see that, for example, here you have all the data for the movie 3 and for the region 1. So again, just to remind you, we are going to make just an estimation. We have 4 regions, and we're going to use 5 cells per region, and there will be 3 movies. And all the 3 movies will be different. Now I'm going to show you what you will find in each one of the Excel tables. So in the Excel table, Malcolm, and Jaden, and Chris already collect some of the data for you, so it's easier. And here you will find that it says cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, cell 4, and cell 5. And ImageJ already give you a lot of information. So for example, here you can see the area, and this is the data that they took. Here you can see, for example, the location, the X and Y axis, and different variations of that, and the perimeter. So when they as they set the measurements, as you saw in the previous video, they were not only able to the software not only gave them the area, but it gives them a lot of more data that it will be useful for your project. So for example, for the one that want to study cell perimeter, the cell perimeter will be here. In this case, as this is for the width and the height, I highlight the width and the height. That is the measurement that you're going to study. The other thing that you will see is that we have here the cell width and the cell height and the combination of both. So if you go here to the cell 1, I move to the right. So here you find, for example, more data, more information. So in the part in the left, so if you move to the left, this is the SMXL table. This is cell number 1. You will find again the perimeter. You will find the height and width. And here, for example, one that is very useful is the slice. So they tell you which slice this come from. So this is the slice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here they tell you, for example, they can also give you the roundness and the solidity, that are other measurements that I can explain. And if you want, you can use it too to analyze the cell shape. But what I wanted to show you is that here, for example, we show you which cells the cell 1 is this cell that is here, and how it looks like. So In case that you want to see the movie, you can analyze how the cell was moving during, and if you have any hypothesis or you want to test it, you can analyze it and you can see the real cell, not only the data. So now, if you observe, you already noticed that here we have the raw data. Now we need to make figures, and in the following tabs we will make the figures. So here what you will see is the time, the slice, and here each one of the cells, cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, cell 4, cell 5. Here we can make an average, and here we can have the standard variation. And here, just as a try to see that the figures were working, I just put a number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what you will get is this type of figure. However, what you have to do is to copy and paste the data. To copy and paste the data and put it in the right place. So for example, you can go to the cell 1 and copy and paste it here. The one that corresponds to the time 23 and the one that corresponds to the time 36. And in the next video, I will show you how to do it. So it's very easy, as I said. You just have to copy the data from the cell 1 to make the figure here. So, or you will replace this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for this data. In this case, the cell width in the tab that is for the cell width, and the same thing with the cell height. If you go to the cell height, you have to go and put it again in the cell number 1. You see, so cell number 1, you copy and paste it. Here is the cell number 1. And as a result of that, I will show you in the next video that the figures you will have to make in that way the figures will appear. I already set up this for you, so it will be easier for you. And in the following video, I will show you an example of how this how to do that. If you have any doubt, I will be close to you, or you can email me, so so you can ask me any question.